Why do you think it is? You see students here in British Columbia,
yes,
they're paying more now than what
yes,
the Quebec.
They are.
Why?
Because they never opposed to any unquestionable increase in tuition fees.
So
the reason that it's low there, it's because they fight for it. It's because there's been this resistance.
So why don't they fight here? What is it about BC that it's not just BC? Why don't they fight here?
I think it's, as I said, I think it comes from this old French tradition of unionized.
So there's not
action.
enough French here. Is that it?
Maybe.
We don't have
opinion,
enough French in us? It's only French that fight or stand up for themselves?
I think they stand up for themselves.
What's your background, buddy?
I'm Persian.
And do Persians stand up for themselves?
But I've lived with the French people for a
But
while.
do Persians stand, or is it just the French that you've seen? Do Persians stand up at all, or no?
Yes, of course, yeah.
And what about, does it make you wonder? Like, do you ever think about that? Like, why is this happening in Quebec? Why aren't the students in any other province? Why is that? Do you think it's Quebec students are maybe more, more what? Ballsy?
Yeah.
Are you guys all from Vancouver here, or like do you live here now, or are you guys visitors?
We live in Metro Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been asking folks like the fact that Quebec students are, laying down laying themselves right on the line here. They're getting arrested. They're mass marching. They're breaking the law in thousands, tens of thousands of kids, and yet they're paying the tuition costs in Quebec, even if these proposed raises are put into effect, will be less than the BC students are paying. So I'm just wondering, why do you think it is? I was just talking to a guy. He said he thinks we don't have enough French. He said it appears that only the French people in Canada will stand up for their rights. And what do you guys think of that? What's the difference?
Well, I agree. If you actually look at the social behavior of people in France, it's very much similar to what's happening in Quebec. France has one of the best social systems in the world, in the modern world at least. Their education's free, their healthcare is free, their vacation pay is ridiculous, 5 weeks of vacation pay. There's a culture within the French Canadian group that is very similar to that. So, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that more students around Canada don't do that, actually. It's the mentality. It is the mentality. It's the mentality of the people over there. They understand that the government works for them and not the other way around. Yes.
Oh, and anyway, they're being heroic. They're standing up in the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Why is there nothing happening here? Why are no one's talking about it?
Why is there no coverage? I think that's a very good point. And that could be like the media. There's a blackout possibly for the entire Canada. So like they're trying to contain.
Why is it there was never a coverage on, nowhere near the amount of coverage that should have been on the Wall Street protests?
Students there in Quebec, they're subjected to, you would think, all the same influences as the students here. And yet the students there are taking to the street, and in record numbers. And what's missing here? Like, what is it really? Is it only the French? Is there no other culture that stands up for themselves? Is it only the French?
They have something that unifies them far more than almost anywhere in Canada. I think,
well, our students were our young people were brought together about the hockey. Why do you think they can be brought together for a hockey game, but not over education or health?
Because it unifies us. That's the point.
But why doesn't why don't young people wanting education? Yeah,
But I can understand, I can feel what's going on, and the reason, and when I read the media and the paper, everybody seems here to be against it and not getting.
What do you think? Do you think the Quebec are selfish, greedy pigs that they're not taking, they're not just accepting this because they're paying less than they are here?
In general, I think they're just they don't trust the government. No, because here every now and then you hear about corruption in the government and the taxpayers' money that's going to the wrong places and ministers.
So you think they're right to be cynical or to question
so when
things?
the government says that we are increasing, we want more money from you.
Yeah.
For all these expenses, but when they see history and background and corruption in the government and the money that's been
but
used
that's just not happening in Quebec. Does that not happen here too?
Yeah, exactly. It happens everywhere.
But it's the only thing you've been able to identify for me so far is that it's French. if we had more French students, by cracky.
No, I think if
they'd
we
be
had a
standing
more
up.
tradition of unions.
Quebec with the students, you know, fighting so hard against those tuition fee rises. Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah.
I think that's good for them. I think more people should do that.
Yeah.
It's